Good Monday morning, everybody.
What do you mean Monday morning?
It's Monday morning, Monday afternoon. Close enough. But it is a Monday, and my name is Crystal Holloman. I am here with News 10 Sports co-director Tim Staudt, and quite a weekend, wouldn't you say?
In what way? I mean, there were a lot of
There's a lot of
there's a
games,
lot of
a
football.
lot of football.
You know, well, I think the bigger weekend's the one coming up.
That's true. That's a pretty big weekend that we
We've
got.
got high school state championships. We got 3 games on Sunday, back to back to back. It starts at 9:30 with Lumen Christie, and then you get Mason, and then you get Corunna at 4. So you get the 3 teams left all in a row. Makes it a lot easier for us to cover on Sunday night on the late sports.
That's true.
And then you got Michigan, Ohio State. Friday night you have Michigan State, Penn State, and of course Thursday at 12:30 you got the Lions of Green Bay.
Well,
So that's 4
speaking-
straight days at Ford Field alone.
Yeah. Speaking of the Lions, they are now 8-2 after a comeback win over the Bears.
Looks shaky.
It did. A lot of
Bears
people.
reminded me of the Lions of yesteryear.
A lot of people were concerned that the game might not go the way that Detroit fans were hoping, including there were a couple of celebrities that were there, pretty much all saying the same thing, screaming at their TVs. They were about ready to have a heart attack, crisis averted, stuff like that. So the Lions did come back, and they are now 8-2.
Is it a greater win or a greater loss?
I would say greater loss.
For the Bears fans, well, ask them about Detroit's fans through the years.
Yeah.
How many times have the Lions clutched defeat from the jaws of victory like that was yesterday? I mean, all the Bears had to do, for 57 minutes it was their game, but they can't handle it. Some in sports sometimes you just if it's an upset situation, which that was. It's bizarre that they could get 17 unanswered points in the last 3.5 minutes, whatever it was, but they did. And you know what? In a long season in sports, I claim as good as you need to be, you need breaks. And they got a few breaks along the way, but that's what you need. You can say that for anybody in sports, in any sport, I think. So, but that's the good news. They play like that against other teams that are much better than the Bears, especially if you get in the playoffs. Well, then the season's going to end one way or the other. But,
Well, we're going to take a little look here at.
is this arts and crafts now? Is that where we're going to
Listen, I told you we had a fancy new
we're going to do arts
stuff going on
now
here.
we're going to do arts and crafts.
So the last time that the Lions, as you saw there with that graphic of Coach Campbell, last time they were 8-2 was 1962.
Yep.
That is, as Ann and I were discussing, that's 3 generations worth of Lion fans that have never seen this. I know my mom was born in 64, so this is a long time coming. We're going to
The
take a look.
62 team was good.
It was. I looked up the roster and
The 62 team was the 62 team for its era, in my opinion, was better than this one. But, that was then and this is now, and this season isn't over. I can't, the Bears have a better quarterback than the Packers, so the Lions will
True.
win easily on Thursday. But they got some tough games left. But to me, it isn't who they beat, it's who they keep healthy. I've said that entire year. You look at these quarterbacks in the NFL that are going down. Joe Burrow's the latest.
Exactly.
You can lose these guys in one moment.
One
And
move.
Florida State, they're undefeated, and they just lost their quarterback. He's done. He's all done with college. Who knows if he can play in the NFL? Quarterbacks are so vulnerable. And, teams are going to go after God. If they lose him, you can suit up and play because you'll be just as effective as the next guy.
I am reinforced.
So
We're going to take a look at some of the things back in 1962. I do not remember 1962. But the Lions were still a year away from William Clay Ford becoming the majority
didn't he
owner.
take ownership the day Kennedy was shot?
Yep, the very next year, 1963.
November 22nd, I think he became the official, or it was that weekend, because this is the 60th anniversary Wednesday of the Kennedy assassination. I remember where I was.
Where were you?
It was in typing class as a 9th grader in high school.
Really?
Skills that you can still use today.
Did they?
They stopped
Come in and
everything.
tell the class?
It was on the loudspeaker, the radio interrupt. We didn't know for about an hour that he was dead. And let me tell you, I mean, it was the 9/11 of that generation, easily, easily. But anyway, that was when William Clay Ford took over the Lions. So, it's that much tougher for Lions fans, and they just didn't know it.
Let's
I
see.
don't know why they still have his initials on those
I'm not
jerseys.
sure either.
Why should he be saluted for expertise as the owner of that franchise? I don't get that.
So this also means that the team has never had an 8-2 record while owned by a member of the Ford family until now.
We
So
got people in here with a Galaxy that they can sell you that'll be less than that.
that's a Galaxy phone, not a car. I don't even know what the Galaxy car looked like. I couldn't even find a picture of it online. But you can get a new car for $2,600.
I
And
don't remember gas that cheap, but it was a lot cheaper than it is
this
now.
is the national average. So a gallon of milk was 49 cents and bread was 21 cents.
What was more significant is McDonald's hamburgers were 15 cents. Might as
Why
well.
do you remember that?
Yeah, you could get 2 cheeseburgers, a fries, and a shake for 50 cents. I'm just telling you, okay?
What a deal. This one's hitting home for me, literally. A new home, the average price was $12,550. And when I told some of our reporters that the average rent was $110 a month, they about all
So
cried.
the point you're making is it's been a while since the Lions were 8-2, and this reinforces the image that it's been a while back.
$198 for a new fridge
And that's
from
60
Sears.
That's 61 years ago. That takes in a lot of people who weren't born yet.
A whole lot. West Side Story, best
Go back
picture.
to how many years they were before they were 9-2.
This might put it into perspective too. Top TV shows: Beverly Hillbillies. Forgot how touches this. Bonanza, Andy Griffith and Dick Van Dyke Show. Those are pretty good. Number one song was "Big Girls Don't Cry" by the Four Seasons, and this is something you were just talking about. President Kennedy.
I think you just like playing with this thing.
I do. Listen, it's
We
it's
didn't
fun.
have that in 1962. We had a chalkboard, and you could write the same thing down just as,
This is so much more fun though.
well, with a
Wouldn't it-
chalkboard, there were not mechanical failures. Okay.
I haven't had a single mechanical failure here yet today. But so what's up? Like, is this almost too much hype for the Lions? Should fans be a little bit cautious?
Well, they
about
ought to
all
be
of
cautious
this?
just watching the way they played 57 minutes yesterday against an awful team. Is that contagious or not? I mean, fans. It's hard to finish 15-2, even the best teams. The game you ought to be fired up about's tonight.
I am pretty excited for tonight's game.
Super Bowl preview, Kansas City
It
and
is.
Philadelphia, is it? I don't know. I mean, is that a
Could
Super
be.
Bowl preview, Kansas
Could
City
be.
and Philadelphia?
It's a Super Bowl sequel, that's for sure.
Those two teams are going to be in the conversation unless they lose their quarterback. Do you think if Mahomes goes out or Hurts goes out, those two teams will be there at the end? No shot. I mean, that's just the way the game is. Cousins is gone. I mean, you can get Daniel Jones from the Giants, Joe Burrow from Cincinnati, and on and on and on it goes. I mean, it's contagious. At any end of not just this one, but in any one. That's why I'm saying, far be it from me to tell the Lions what to do, but you put some kind of a sheath around Goff so nobody can hit him.
Oh,
I got to give the Bears a high five, though, to lose that the way they did yesterday. They got them. They got a team that places rock, and the team's been. Nobody thinks the Bears are worth it. They're up by 12 points with 3 minutes to go, and they can't handle it. Unreal. Although I never thought that game was over.
I will say, I
thought
it
it looked dire.
Yeah.
But I never thought because I said, you know what, these are the Bears, and this is the way the Lions were, And then that clown, he's hip hopping and bopping, and he did it right in front of the Lions players. And if you do that after the game, that's one thing. You do it during the game, why would you do that?
You shouldn't.
I mean, you don't see me mocking the rest of the crew in here until after I know we're going to have a better day than they are. I at
Exactly.
least wait for that.
Yeah, at least wait.
For
I did think it was pretty poetic that a Wolverine took down a Buckeye on the field this weekend.
Well,
that last play from
they'd like to
Hutchinson.
do it this Saturday. So, that's frankly, to me, that's the story of the week is 2 11-0s going at it in Ann Arbor because they're both sweating bullets.
They are.
They're both just sweating bullets. I want to see it get down just to the last couple of minutes of that game, maybe a little light snow falling. These tie games.
Let's not talk about the snow
Fans
part.
are just sweating bullets.
Well, we will talk a little bit more football. As you mentioned, Mason beat Detroit Martin Luther King. Here's some highlights from that game. And I believe I saw that King won the matchup the last 2 seasons. So this was the third time these two teams met, and this time Mason came out on top. What are your thoughts on this game? This was
Joey tells me Forest Hill Central can't beat Mason.
So that's who Mason plays next.
They play Forest Hill Central, who's
Yep,
good.
in Grand Rapids.
He claims that Mason will win. Well, we're all rooting for that. They're a local team. I don't think they're ever going to have a team like this again. They get their quarterback to return, but he's not going to have all these guys around him that are seniors. But you know what? The big game to me wasn't King. It was the one in the previous game, the repeat game with Warren, West.
Warren De La Salle?
No, Warren West, whoever they played for the second time. And they were 12 down in the second half, came back to win. So they've shown they can play under duress. But you know what? For some of these players that get to Ford Field, that stage is pretty big, it's pretty broad, and you got to have a good get. But they got seniors to do it, and I think that's their key. So, any rate, so we got that. Good luck to Corunna. Good luck to Lumen Christi. Good luck to Mason. Michigan State Friday night, 7:30. Penn State, they're a 20-point dog, and Michigan's a 4.5-point favorite over Ohio State. I'll take Ohio State to win straight up.
Okay,
there you
that's
go.
What you say.
All right, put some new stuff on there for tomorrow, whenever.
So Jackson Lumen Christi will face Menominee on Saturday at Ford Field. That's a 9:30 game.
That's a little early to get up and start hitting.
It is. And then Mason will play Grand Rapids Forest Hills at 12:30.
Corunna team must be pretty good, too.
Sounds like it. Other local teams, East Lansing was defeated by Muskegon. Portland was defeated by Grand Rapids South Christian. And Ovid Elsie by Elma. Have all of that and more coming up, I believe,
Am I
at
excused?
6 o'clock. You are.
All right.
All right.
All right. Play with this. Show people more of that.
I will. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will see you guys a little bit later. Make sure you tune in to News 10 at 6 for more sports.